Hello everyone and welcome to the Starseed Dragon channel. This is a tarot review of the Tarot of the Abyss by Tourian. Let's see, yeah, Tourian. So this is an 80 card deck with 2 alternate cards and a 148 page guidebook. I saw the Tarot of the Abyss. I was watching one of my favorites, YouTubers, Scorched Earth Tarot. I will put her link in, the link to her channel in the description box below. She is fantastic. I think she's in the UK. I'm not too sure. But she's not in the US. I know that. She's amazing and I love her. And she uses this deck. And that inspired me to get this deck and review it because I thought the imagery was pretty spectacular. So thank you, Scorched Earth, for using this deck and inspiring me to get it and review it. Please go visit her channel, show her some love. The link to her channel is in the description box below. Let's see what we've got going on here. Tarot of the Abyss. So I don't know what the 2 extra ones are, but I'm going to read the descriptions of the major arcana because I'm starting to do my reviews, trying to do them in a shorter version. And then we'll look at the minor arcana, flip through them so we could see the pictures and everything. But, you know, if you're looking at a tarot deck, you usually know what the meanings of the cards usually are. And of course, when we run into the 2 extra cards, wherever they may be, we will get there. I'll read those descriptions. So let's, these are amazing cards. They're all in black and white. It doesn't look like they're gilded, but man, they're pretty. They're so pretty. It looks like pen work. 5 inches or a little over 12 centimeters by 3 inches or just under 8 centimeters. So we got that going for us. Let me just open this up. Undo, undo, undo. And we'll get into, again, I'll read the descriptions of the major arcana. And of course, when we get to the 2 bonus cards, I'll read those. But I won't read the descriptions of the minor, just for the sake of time, because people don't usually watch my videos all the way through, so there's that. So, here we go. The Fool. The major arcana, the Fool. The Fool is someone who is not ashamed to explore her dreams. She will venture off into the unknown, regardless of what people say or think about her. She is not scared, although perhaps a little bit of fear would do her good in some cases. The Fool is the inner child who so eagerly tries to escape, to be fresh and full of hope and not stifled by the conditioning that society and the world places upon us. The Fool will step off the cliff and know that somehow her feet will sprout wings and lift her to her destination. In the Tarot of the Abyss, the Fool is within her element. She is carefree. Her hair is long and untamed, like tentacles, as it expands and reaches for the sun. Her expression is serene as she places one foot over the edge of the cliff and casts aside the rose that she has carried from the beginning of her journey, a symbol of the world she's left behind. She closes her eyes as if to avoid the evidence of any potential threat that she might encounter. Perhaps the wind is bringing warnings of an impending storm. Perhaps there are other paths that she should take to get to her destination. Regardless, the one she is on now will be full of adventures. Below, the bright rays of light tell us something is below. We just don't know what that is yet. In the distance, two birds fly free, just as the fool, coming or going at their pleasure. When the fool appears in your reading, something new is on the horizon. You're on the verge of a new adventure that will require you to take a leap of faith. While this is generally a positive card, it is still a good idea to look before you leap. Enjoy the ride, for a time of new beginnings and adventures awaits. Beautiful. The Magician. The Magician stands centered, his gaze steady and full of intent. This is no ordinary man. He is a blender of paths, one who grasps the heavens and yet is still rooted to Mother Earth. There are no barriers for him, since this world is boundless. The Magician harvests the energies of both earth and sky, fusing them to his core. He is wise and knowing, his power a gift given freely from the source of all. In this card, there are no human tools on hand. There is no elemental representation, since he himself holds all the elements within. Fire is at his core, the spiral energy he's harnessed. Air is within his mental capacity and ability to maintain the perfect balance. Water flows as his emotions, turning deep below his surface. And last but not least, earth grounds him, his roots providing a constant connection to that which nourishes the body and all living things. There is great responsibility on the shoulders of the Magician. There may be no mistakes in maintaining this perfect elemental harmony. What we must always remember is that this type of understanding develops with time. As we strive to be like the Magician, we must first become aware of the powers we are aiming to balance. The Magician represents the symbolic relationship, symbiotic relationship between the conscious and the subconscious. He is capable of intelligently and lovingly controlling the forces of nature and has access to the higher realms, thus unifying spirit and matter. When this card appears, it signals a time when we have the ability to will things into manifestation. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is a still and quiet figure, guarding the door of both positive and negative forces. She is the sorceress who is aware of all mysteries and sees all that is hidden. She represents the subconscious and the doors within your mind that want to be opened. Within her palms, she holds the yin-yang, representations of the positive male and negative female energies. The High Priestess is the one who stands at the veil of consciousness. Around her waist, she holds 3 keys that unlock the soul, mind, and heart. Her head is crowned with the crescent moon, for she is a daughter of the moon and draws her force from it. When the High Priestess appears in your reading, she brings forth a period of spiritual enlightenment. And whereas before, through the Magician, we had the desire to create and bring things into being, the High Priestess has the power of unseen forces to manifest these desires. Nevertheless, do not forget that she is a figure who lives within the shadowy realm of the night. Therefore, be aware that her influences are sometimes hidden and can come through unexpected avenues. These are beautiful cards. They're nice. They're not too thick. They're not too thin. They're nice. They're a nice card. Very bendable. The Empress. The Empress is the bringer of life. She walks the earth with grace, love, and care, cradling her right belly as she burrs the world around her. She is in perfect harmony with all her surroundings, and her intentions are from the heart. She is Mother Nature at her core, the epitome of fruitfulness and bounty. She is summer in her prime, her hands blending and shaping the world around her, leaving a trail of blooming flowers and new life. In some instances, that creative energy can take the shape of artistic birth or even physical birth, whereas the High Priestess represented the virginal aspect. The Empress represents the maternal aspect, physically active in her creation and a problem solver. She is the creator, the birther of creativity, of life itself. When she appears in your spread, she brings with her the active forces of progression, whether in love, business, creation, or literally pregnancy and physical birth. Be open to what this period will bring and utilize her gifts wisely. There is also a sense of hope that comes with this card. The idea that all the work that was put in at the beginning was not in vain. Since the Empress is shown at the end of her pregnancy, this too is an indication of an abundant outcome that will soon materialize. If you were to search for her in your own life, you'd most likely find her as a woman who is important to you, someone helpful and influential. The Emperor. There are many ways to show power, sometimes through force, sometimes through silent presence. The Emperor sits in silent presence. His strength is felt from a distance as he protects his kingdom at all times. He reigns from the outside as his throne is seated outside the walls of his kingdom. But make no mistake, at any sign of danger, the Emperor is ready to stand and confront would-be attackers. In his hand, he holds a spiral globe, a symbol of evolution and expansion. He is Ares, the god of war, and a skilled strategist. His eyes are stern and full of life, denoting a vast experience that gives us but a glimpse of the many wars he has fought. He is a ruler and therefore holds the traits of one. Power and dominance over those he rules, but also closely guarding their protection. If the Emperor appears in your reading, seek to determine if he represents the reader or someone else in the Corint's life. Perhaps he represents a father figure who brings the qualities and attributes of the Emperor. He typically represents a man of great influence and reach. This card can also signal important changes or events that are about to unfold. Perhaps a shift in power, a new position at work that brings with it more authority and responsibility. Depending on the surrounding cards, in a positive reading, the Emperor represents stability. He knows how to set strategic boundaries to gain the perfect vantage point to protect his kingdom. The Wise One. The Wise One is traditionally known as the Hierophant. In this card, he represents the spiritual healer, the shaman. We witness the exchange between the healer and his people, a sacred moment when he is passing down his knowledge and wisdom. Tradition is important to him, something that has taken generations to acquire and master and cannot be achieved through solitude or isolation. The fire is burning bright, and with its heat, it warms their souls and lights the path of enlightenment. When this card appears, know that perhaps some spiritual guidance is coming your way. There are many forms through which this knowledge may come into your life, perhaps through a counselor or a spiritual mentor. However it may be, guidance is coming your way. The Wise One is a card of doctrine and of spiritual tradition. And at its core, tradition in general is passed down and continues living within a group setting. Perhaps you've been searching for a group of spiritually minded people to connect with. If spiritual doctrine is not your cup of tea, then a good balance would come through incorporating some aspects of tradition to your spiritual practice. Things that could become ritual that could feed your soul. Excellent advice. The Lovers. Oh, I love that they're trees. That is amazing. I love this artwork. It's beautiful. But, you know, you guys know me by now. This is the kind of thing I dig. Okay. The Lovers. There is nothing more beautiful to me than nature itself. Trees have always fascinated me. Their rough exterior hiding their vulnerable life force. They can be as straight as arrows, but at the same time bend with the wind. They adapt their solid bodies, innately knowing their survival depends on it. Their roots run deep within the earth, sharing nutrients and a bonding with others of their kind that is unseen for all the rest of us. For this reason, I chose 2 bonding trees to represent the lovers. 2 trees bend to reach each other, their roots intertwining, almost becoming one entity. It has taken many years for them to be able to connect in such a way. Through storms and droughts, they're only witnesses the changing seasons of the soul. They do not need to express their love verbally. Their love is shared instantly and equally, and through their merging, they are stronger still. The Lovers is a card that represents a deep, soul-felt connection with someone. Some would call it finding their soulmate, their life companion. And even though, generally speaking, this card does deal with romantic relationships, it often goes beyond this level of interpretation. The Lovers card talks about allowing yourself to be vulnerable and true, letting the other person know you for who you truly are. Break down the walls and trust that the other person will be there for you. Just like the trees have joined their roots together into one, so must you in your own relationship. You may be pleasantly surprised by what you discover. Beautiful. I love it. The Lover's card. It's probably the most beautiful card I've ever seen. The Chariot. The rider stands tall on her two swans, brave and full of determination. There is no fear in her as she guides the regal feathered creatures. She knows that fear will not help her in this mission, and any sort of wavering could bring about her demise. Therefore, she guides the swans with steady hands, aware of the power hidden in the winds. She knows it's useless to try to go against the wind, so instead she harnesses it. In this manner, her journey will be swifter and easier on the swans. The rider has to balance herself with care, taking note of her surroundings and also her charges. These are wild animals, and at any moment they could try to go their own ways, even pulling in opposite directions. The Chariot is a card that encourages us to take action. This card brings with it the potential for success in your projects or even physical moves. When this card appears in your reading, know that now is not the time to procrastinate or let yourself be distracted. Set your goals and maintain your focus. There are many things that can distract your attention on a day-to-day basis. Remain steadfast and know that the road to success is often filled with obstacles. It's all about how you approach them. It's your stages, your tenacity, and your courage that will ultimately allow you to realize your goals. Strength. This card depicts a woman and her trusted companion, the lion. It is an unusual alliance, not something that just anyone could master. Relinquishing your fear is key, as the great beast can smell fear. The woman's hand holds the lion gently, a subtle hint at the power she possesses over this creature. She is calm, yet her gaze is steady as she becomes aware of her presence. In a way, she resembles her predator friend, on guard and perceptive of her surroundings. Her clothes are plain. There are no hints of worldly treasures. Her riches cannot be bought. They come from her abilities and her inner strength of character. She has mastered her emotions and conquered her anxieties. All the tools she needs to take on challenges are within her. The lion is a symbol of what we fear the most, and she has mastered that fear through equilibrium and inner strength. The Strength card appears when we need to take control of our internal environment. It's not a card about physical strength or any external influences that can be manipulated or controlled. It calls us to focus inwardly, to look deeply at those internal insecurities that cause us to doubt our own abilities. The greatest saboteur often lurks within. Remain fixed in your confidence, and you will hold the reins to your emotions, as the woman holds dominion over the lion. The Hermit. She walks alone into the desert, searching. Her withered face reveals the tests of time she has seen and surmounted. The hermit has no regrets. She has gained profound knowledge of the material world, yet senses that there is more to reality than simply what is visible. In her right hand, she grasps a large snake, a symbol of renewal and rebirth. As the snake sheds its skin, it grows. So shall the hermit shed her old self and re-emerge wiser and more whole. Her left hand appears to radiate light, illuminating the path, one step at a time. Her journey is a slow one, but she is in no rush. The hermit has deliberately removed herself from the world in order to subdue the conscious mind. When the hermit appears in your reading, it augurs a time for soul searching and introspection. This voyage must be solitary. It cannot be achieved through others. It is a soul journey that requires inward attention. Perhaps you need to take a break from the business of life and focus on reconstituting your inner self. The snake moves slowly and is a grounded animal. Therefore, be like the snake. Be sure that regardless of the things going on in your life, particularly if it is a more tumultuous period, that you remain grounded. Do not rush. The hermit is calling you back to center. You must be still in the midst of storm so that you may discover balance and answers you seek. Wheel of Fortune. The weaver holds the wheel of time, an endless spiral that can influence the events of life itself. She bears no ill will, nor does she control where or when it stops. She is simply the guardian and wheel. She has existed here since the beginning of time itself, and her name is Infinity. She neither rests nor sleeps. She is a constant witness to the world, viewing its highs and lows with impassivity and temperance. Fate can be a very fickle friend, one moment whisking you to the heights of bliss and fulfillment, the next dropping you to the depths of loss and despair. The spiral of time has its own motivations, its all-seeing eye ever open and awake. When the Wheel of Fortune appears in your spread, know that times are changing. If your life has been stagnant, know that big changes are afoot. If you've had a run of bad luck lately, your life will soon change for the better. Conversely, if things have been spectacular, brace yourself for unexpected changes or obstacles. This is not a subtle card. The wheel will turn things upside down, and its impact could potentially have lifelong repercussions. It often alters the course of your life to a greater extent than anticipated. Nor can these changes be helped or avoided. When it comes to karmic influences, there is very little we can do to control the events that befall us. However, we always retain control over our reactions and in perceptions of these life changes. Often, our greatest strength is our adaptability to the changes that inevitably occur in life. Seek to establish a healthy perspective of the changes that befall you, and much of the battle is won. That's beautiful. Justice. Justice is fierce, but fair. She holds the scales of positive and negative forces with her eye, constantly scrutinizing and weighing our decisions. Yet still she stands staring straight into our eyes, looking deep into our soul. Justice can see the most hidden of our intentions. She can sense if our choices and actions are based on truth or deception. In a sense, she represents our inner voice of reason and conscience. She knows no gray area. Her judgment is stark and absolute. However, remember that unlike us, she can see the bigger picture. You only have one chance to present your case before her, so make it count and don't try to trick her keen eye. When justice appears, know that all will be revealed, for better or worse. Everything hidden will make its way to the surface in true revelation. This card can indicate legal proceedings or lawsuits. One way or another, the truth must come out. If you have been wronged or if you have wronged someone else, justice will prevail. All will be judged for their actions, so act responsibly and be honest with yourself and others. Perhaps there are some big decisions that need to be made at this time. If so, the Justice card can also indicate the need to consider those choices carefully. Balance is key in all things. Hence, remove anything that is in excess or default, unless things must be put away in order to restore equilibrium. Oh, I'm sorry. Useless things must be put away in order to restore equilibrium. I was thinking about that. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Okay. The Hanged One. Suspended above the ground dangles the Hanged One. He is us and we are him. We see through his eyes and feel palpably his predicament. The world is askew, a dizzying rush of emotions and confusion. We are not accustomed to seeing the world from this perspective. Everything appears strange and yet new. How did the Hanged One get there? Was it his own doing, or was it something inflicted upon him? We can't assume he's bound in any way, as we really can only see what's in front of him. Perhaps it's not as important how he got there, but rather how the situation has changed him and how his perception of the world has since changed. The road ahead of him ends near a home, with no one else in sight. No one, that is, except two inquisitive ravens, Hugin and Munin, Odin's trusted messengers. They represent thought and mind. One of them holds a small branch in his beak as an offering. If the Hanged One appears in your reading, it offers you an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. This is the time when evolution will come about through stasis rather than action. The Hanged One brings a period of stillness or even possibly stagnation. It indicates a spiritual evolution achieved only through sacrifice or loss. It can augur a time of discomfort. Still, the discomfort is worth the price, as the reward will be greater than the sacrifice. In life, nothing of value is achieved without some form of sacrifice. Time, energy, comfort, and anything that you personally cleave to can be temporarily affected. No matter the method, transformation will occur. Death. She has watched the earth since the beginning of time. Her expression is pensive and solemn as she schools up and down the annals of the earth. A tireless presence, unseen yet felt by all. She is death, the bringer of change and transformation. She waits within the liminal state and hears the call of transmutation. Her roots dig deep into creation itself. Her core is the endless night sky. Their stars collapse and are reborn in an endless cycle that she calls home. She is the door that opens when all else closes. When the death card makes its presence known in your spread, it rarely indicates the literal death of a loved one. This major arcana card is powerful indeed, typically depicting life-altering changes. It represents a very important ending in your life, but also the beginning of a new period. It is metamorphic in its message. Through this process of change, you will need to shed those things that are no longer necessary in order to make room for new possibilities. It is sometimes said that the death card does not signify an ending, but rather a transition. It bears much in common with actual death. bringing fear of the unknown, the stripping down of the old, and preparation of a way for the new. Death comes to all. None of us is immune to it. Often it can come suddenly, without warning. That is something we could remember when this card appears in your reading. It most certainly is not a card that takes its time. Death, or rather transformation, is an active process. There is nothing static about it. In these situations, it is wise not to get too attached to things that are no longer suited for you. Very often, they will be washed away in the process of change. True. Temperance. Two elemental cups hold the key to inner balance. One holds the element of fire, its flames dancing and intertwining with the element of water springing from the second cup. Together, through their fluid movements and acceptance of each other, they form the perfect balance of opposing forces. Fire is that inner creative drive that ignites us to move and act. Water, as our emotions, is sometimes turbulent, full of power to create or destroy. However, when brought together in the perfect blend of balance and harmony, they bring about stability. Much is the forging and formation of new land when molten lava collides with the cool sea. The presence of the Temperance card in your spread is a call to moderation and harmonious relationships. If your reading is especially active in terms of events, this card urges you not to take extreme actions, but rather to take your time and not rush. Be calm and centered as the eye of the storm ponder your responses. Certain situations may require you to compromise in order to reach a resolution. Don't allow yourself to be provoked. Losing your temper will only push the process further from the balance and stability you seek. The Devil. The winged man hovers over an endless wasteland, shackled to the machinations of his own heart. He is an image of despair in the midst of absolute isolation. His wings are spread wide open, ready to take flight, yet he is unable to do so. Perhaps all that is needed is the will to remove himself from the lashings of his own design. No one holds back his wings. No one roots him in his cares. It is through his own attachments that he is confined. The Devil card speaks of our internal vices, those parts of ourselves that we keep hidden. It is reflective of the indulgences, addictions, and excess that we permit into our lives. These are weaknesses that make us vulnerable and perpetually keep old wounds open. This tends to happen if we strayed too far from our spiritual side and focus more on the materialistic aspects of life. Have you overindulged in the fruits of the world, eschewing those of the soul? This is something that only you can answer through reflection and introspection. You see, the devil is not an external perpetrator. It is the shadow of your own selves. Look deeply within and be truthful. If this card should appear in your spread, is there anything in your life that is making you feel trapped or bound? What is making you feel powerless and out of control? Remember that the Devil card is not about subjugation without end. It is a card that calls you to be active in achieving your freedom, to take action and free yourself from burdensome attachments. You only need to choose to do so. True. Very, very true. The Tower. The storm rages on, the thunder and lightning tearing through the night, destroying everything in their path without mercy. The idyllic treehouse, once poised tall, is now torn and rent. Constructed on the hopes of childhood dreams, the treehouse now lies shattered, clinging to life as the man dangling dangerously from its foundations. One person has already fallen. With no more strength left, she has let go, surrendering to the abyss. If the house were built on sturdier ground, could it have prevented this situation? It is not likely. The storm was bound to arrive sooner or later. The Tower card is not a card we love to see in readings. It is unsettling to say the least. When it reveals itself, we cringe at its potential ramifications. There is no sugarcoating it. It is a card that augurs a time for drastic transformations that will force you to move out of your comfort zone. If you are a person who doesn't enjoy change, this card can signal a potentially challenging time. Tower doesn't bring small changes. It produces major shifts. Things that appear stable and constant are now uprooted and abrupt. You may have to sell your home, relocate, or seek new employment. As stressful as this period can be, remember that you are not your job or your house. Do not identify with the things that you do in life or the place where you reside. These are supporting elements in your life that bring stability and comfort. However, they are not always fixed and static, and it may be necessary to relinquish them to open up new possibilities. The one who stays constant in the sea of change is your true nature. See that you nourish, safeguard, and keep it well. The Star. The journey was long and arduous, and through it all, the wanderer has encountered many obstacles and setbacks. Still, her inner drive has proven resolute and has never waned. Throughout her journey, she has relied on a constant presence that has guided her home, the North Star. It is ever present, ever faithful, a silent friend in the endless sky. The star nourishes her and feeds her hope. Now, safe at least from the perils that once threatened her very existence, she reaches out in gratitude. The star card is a symbol of hope. It is fitting that it allows the Tower as it is fitting that it follows the Tower, as even when all hope appears lost, the star shines forth, reminding us with its beacons of light and warmth that a new day will soon follow. If there have been any major changes in your life recently that have threatened to throw you off course, the Star card is here to provide you a sense of peace and security. Have faith in what the future will bring and try not to dwell on the problems of the past. There is something that stills the mind when we look at a night sky. It helps us put things into perspective. Time and experience have made you more resilient and capable. The Moon. Near the edges of two cliffs, two figures stand wrapped in rays of luminescent moonlight. The male stands upon the right cliff, while his female counterpart stands upon the left cliff. They represent the primordial active and passive energies, spirit and matter, light and dark. There is only a small gap between them, making it easy for them to cross and unite. Yet one false step could be their undoing. The moon governs the tides. Its ever-changing phases exert a constantly shifting influence upon the waters of the earth, as well as upon our emotional lives. Each one of us is connected to the moon through occult energies that shift our emotional bodies. In contrast to the sun, which shines constantly and reliably, completely illuminating the world, the moon provides only intermittent and indirect light. The moon provides general impressions but cannot be relied upon to reveal the whole truth. There is something mystical to its permanence, its stillness and silence. For this reason, it is important to proceed with caution. When the moon card appears in your reading, it signals a period of fluctuation and change. For most of us, the inability to clearly distinguish our surroundings instills a sense of fear and anxiety reminiscent of childhood fears of the dark. Moonlight dances lightly at nighttime. It hints but doesn't reveal all, and what we see by moonlight can turn out to be quite different in daylight. Therefore, it is not at all difficult to misperceive objects or intentions. Beware then of false impressions throughout this period, as it's quite easy to lose your step and be deceived. It's also wise not to make any major decisions or changes during this time. Interesting. The sun. The sun rises faithfully in the east, its rays swirling and dancing with vitality. It is an energetic life force that activates all it touches. It awakens flora and fauna alike. In the sun card, a portal to a world of bounty and plenty can be seen. Unlike the moon card, there's nothing hidden here. There are no crossroads or obscured motives. This journey upon this golden road will be like no other, for the sun is here to guide you. If the sun card appears in your spread, life will soon be infused with vital energy and new hope. There is a whole world out there that's yet to be discovered. It has always been there. We just needed to develop the eyes to see it. The Sun card is one of the best cards to get in a reading, signaling confidence, success, and fulfillment. It's a card that calls for leadership and empowerment. If ever there was a time to take charge, it is now. Any projects or undertakings currently in progress will be achieved effortlessly, often simply through a shift in perspective and perception. What was once hidden shall soon be revealed. Awakening. The woman rises as a phoenix from the ashes, having completed her arduous journey of metamorphosis and growth, her outgrown former self lying empty beneath her is nothing more than an empty, hollow husk. She bears no more guilt or burdens. She has risen victorious to a new phase of life. The woman is still exhausted from having completed her journey of change and growth. She embraces a new self, exploring her wings in freedom and liberation. She is poised, gathering her strength for whatever challenges and opportunities lie ahead. The Awakening card, formerly Judgment, invites you to take note of your life objectively, to step back and consider how much you've grown and learned. You may be getting to the point where you've outgrown certain relationships or jobs, and certain chapters of your life may be drawing to a close. Perhaps you are reluctant to complete the final metamorphosis. No doubt, comfort and stability can be appealing. However, sometimes life has other plans for us when we try to cling to the past. You may be reaching an important milestone, and as often is the case, it comes with major decisions or changes. If you have been feeling down or in need of forgiveness, the Awakening card will bring solace and reintegration. Be prepared and be as the butterfly. Take your time to regenerate, but get ready to fly and soar. Gorgeous. The World. This is the last card of the Major Arcana, where we find the Philosophorum, the alchemal child, or child of wisdom. He has been formed under the careful, watchful, all-seeing eye of life, infinite in creative potential. The karmic events that have taken place all lead up to this moment of fulfillment and dynamic balance. The child of wisdom rests safely and securely within the womb of infinity, his creative forces boundless and unlimited. He has retained the ideal state of being, having been raised lovingly in the vessel of creation, his potential realized. The World card is the final stage of the Major Arcana. Each of the cards that have preceded it represents a step in our spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical evolution. We are all creators of our reality. If the World card should appear in your spread, all your energy and efforts, your dreams and passions that you've worked so hard for will be rewarded. What you have sown through this journey will now be reaped. Take time to enjoy your newfound success, for as with all things, this ending shall soon reveal a new beginning. Beautiful. I wonder what the 2 extra cards would be. Let me look ahead. Looking ahead. One moment, please. Looking ahead. I wonder what the 2 extra cards are. Let me see if they are in the front. Let me find it. Three of Swords and 10 of Swords. Really? Okay, well, let's go looking. Ace of Swords. Two of Swords, Three of Swords. Oh, Three of Swords. Okay, so let me read Three of Swords, alternative card. Some people have a different way of interpreting the Three of Swords based on the numerological properties of the number 3, the triad. Because the suit of swords, let me just turn this. This is the regular one, and this is the alternative one. Okay. Because the suit of swords deals with the element of air and therefore the mind, the suit as a whole can be interpreted as a progression from unknowing to knowing. Since the Ace of Swords associated with number 1, also known as the monad, is a card that brings the discovery of truth, the number 1 is the creative Big Bang of the mind. The Two of Swords associated with the number 2, the dyad, is all about duality and the choices of the mind. We've now reached the number 3, the triad. In the Three of Swords, where what we've learned from the Ace of Swords, 1 equals truth and creativity, combined with the Two of Swords, 2 equals ability to make choices and proper discernment, brings us to the growth and expansion of the mind through multiplicity, new ways of thinking and seeing things. It calls for harmony and equilibrium between the two forces that once were opposing. For this reason, the card portrays the image of a young man in the midst of gaining knowledge. 3 swords stand upright, piercing the book of thought, unlocking the living knowledge as it flies off the pages. They take flight and enter the receptive grail of the mind, a fertile ground where their seeds can germinate and develop fully if properly tended to. Interesting. So there's 2 Three of Swords. There's the 4 of Swords. The 5 of Swords. The 6 of Swords. The 7 of Swords. The 8 of Swords. The 9 of Swords. The 10 of Swords. You all know that imagery, right? Okay, so here's the second 10 of Swords right here. So let me go to that 10 of Swords, 10 of Swords, alternative card. For those who read numerology, numerologically, I've again provided an alternate version of the 10 of Swords. This variation considers the 10 of Swords and its association with the decade. Therefore, it represents the realization and completion of mental progression, going full cycle. However, in this case, it is viewed in a positive manner, as an increase in mental power and knowledge as opposed to a loss of mental power and depletion. It's all about mastering the element of swords, air, and mind, and learning from all that you've experienced. There is a reason why we look up to our elders for wisdom and guidance. They have seen more moons and suns, and if they have walked wisely, they are further along on the path of life. The owl is an ancient symbol of wisdom. It locked stairs with the old sage, the years clearly etched within his features, for they are many paths his soul has taken. They are the many paths his soul has taken, and represent the footprints of time. The man is a figure full of thoughtfulness and intelligence, and he meets the gaze of his totem equal in spirit and wisdom. Wow, that is amazing. What a great 10 of Swords, right? What a great alternate meaning for that. Okay, so let's go through the rest of the deck. Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. This is just beautiful imagery. I just really like it. Queen of Swords. King of Swords. Ace of Wands. The Phoenix, beautiful. Two of Wands. Three of Wands. Four of Wands, beautiful. Five of Wands. Oops. Six of Wands. Wow, that's beautiful. Seven of Wands. Eight of Wands. Nine of Wands. Wow, that is the epitome of a wounded warrior, right? 10 of Wands. Page of Wands. Wow. Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. Wow, that is beautiful. King of Wands. Ace of Cups. Two of Cups. Wow, gorgeous. Three of Cups. Four of Cups. Five of Cups. Six of Cups. Wow. Seven of Cups. So many choices. Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups. Beautiful. 10 of Cups. Wow, that is gorgeous. Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. Wow. Just beautiful artistry. King of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Two of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. It's beautiful imagery. Nine of Pentacles. Wow. Wow. 10 of Pentacles. That is gorgeous. Wow. Love it. Page of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Beautiful. Queen of Pentacles. And King of Pentacles. Beautiful. Well, I dig this deck. Let me know what you think of it. I think that this is going to be a great addition to my collection. It's got a great energy to it. I really love the fullness and richness of it. Even if it's black and white, which is really amazing that, you know, with it being black and white, it still has all that vibrancy to it. It's amazing. I really dig it. I hope that you do too. If you like this deck and would like to purchase one for yourself, I do have an affiliate link in the description box below to where I purchased this deck. And also, please check out the Scorched Earth channel. I have the link to her channel in the description box below. She is an awesome reader. She's just, I really enjoy watching her. Go check her out. And if you enjoy her, please subscribe to her channel. She's awesome. And other than that, if you, let me know in the comment sections if you like this or how you feel about this deck, or if you have a deck in mind that you would like for me to review. Put that in the comment section below, and I'll see what I could do about obtaining the deck that you would like for me to review, and I'll review it. Other than that, have a great day, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.